Hello everybody, my name is Orfeas Hirato. I'm a clarinetist based in Basel, Switzerland, and I am here today to show you my warm-up routine, my daily warm-up routine, which is because it's very important to warm up every day. For me, it's important to warm up not only to get ready to play a concert and to play an audition or before a lesson, but it's also very important to concentrate on some of our technical problems like airflow or finger technique in the exercises that we play during the warm-up, because sometimes with a repertoire it's not easy to really concentrate on the technical problems. That's why we need the exercises, the etudes, and all these things. Normally I do around 40 minutes to 1 hour per day warm up. It depends what exercise I choose to do. I will try to show you my main exercises today, and I will try to make the video short and not 1 hour long video. So of course, warm up, as the word says, it's very important to warm all the muscles, the embouchure. So I start, like many people, with long notes. I play long notes in fifths. So let's say I would start from low E and then play upwards to in fifth and then come down. Now I will continue this exercise from F, F sharp, G, and go as high as I want. After this I would do the same exercise, but starting each note from pianissimo, from nothing, making a crescendo and coming back to pianissimo. I like to put a metronome for this. It's very important that each beginning of the note it's together with the metronome. So in the future, when we play something in repertoire, we're confident enough that the note will start when we want it to start. So I put the metronome, let's say, in 100, and and so forth. You go high, and then you take from the F, let me stop the metronome, then you take from F sharp, from G, you can do as long as you want, and you can see where you have difficulties, which notes in the high register probably you have difficulties. It's important not to let it go. When the note doesn't come, you stop, you breathe again, and you restart together with the metronome. It's really important to get used to this. So after my long notes, I start playing scales, and all the scales from E until 3 octaves higher. I also put 100. I find with 100 it's a good tempo for me. It's not too slow to be boring, but it's also not too fast to not have control, not to have the ability to concentrate on regularity. So it's important to have a flow, a constant airflow, and also regularity in the fingers. I play the first note longer, and well, here it is. I do the usual arpeggi, so in major, in minor, and then in diminished. I also take the 100 again. I like to play the arpeggi in triole to let me control the flow, to make everything smooth while I'm going upwards in the register. As you can see, I'm also trying to work on my circular breathing. It's also a good opportunity in the warm-up to do it in a controlled environment, and if in the warm-up if something happens, it's just a warm-up, you know, and so you can repeat it, you can redo it until it's good. Then I do the same thing with minor. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Then I do it in diminished, which I play a diminished arpeggio in every single note. I go chromatically upwards. And so on and so on. And then I go up to the high E again, like the low E I started, and I come back down, like with the arpeggi, the first two arpeggi. After that I play again the scales, but in thirds this time. I keep always the 100 in the metronome. As I said, I feel for me it's a good tempo to control everything. You can put it slower at the beginning, and if you feel one day, like I do sometimes, just put it faster, just to test yourself, because it's important we test ourselves in the warm-up. These are some exercises that you all heard. You're probably also doing some basic stuff, but very important to have them in your warm-up repertoire. Then I start making some exercises for staccato. Our staccato, we can improve our staccato by doing some exercises to increase the stamina of our tongue, so the duration that we can play staccato, also the speed and the accuracy. So I have 3 exercises that I got to know about them from very good clarinetists and very experienced clarinetists that I had the opportunity to have lessons with, and I combined these 3 exercises for me, because I think that these 3 exercises work better for the problems I had with my staccato and what I wanted to improve for my staccato. So the first exercise I do, I put the metronome back to 100, and I play 4/4 bars, so 4 crotchets, then 8 notes, then triole, then 16th note, and then quintole. and then I come back to 16th note, triole, 8th notes, and crotchets. I hope it was correct in English. I know everything in German, but in English, I don't know. So I will make you a demonstration. 100 in the metronome, I get from the low register, I start from the low register. It's very important that you keep the airflow like if you would be playing a long note. And then I go chromatically up, and I continue until the third of a G, which is the B natural. Then I go to G, and then I go to this G, and I continue until the B natural up. This is for me a very important exercise because you can increase the speed of your staccato, but also you learn how each register reacts to the staccato. Because of course the higher register you have to get used to how to play. It's a bit different than the low register. So for me this is a very important exercise. It really improved me in a matter of a couple of months. I could already see the improvement in my staccato quality and the speed. After I do the exercise of scales again, I put again 100. I think, as I said before, it's a very good tempo for control, and in this case it's also very important because it's important that you get tired, your tongue gets tired. Our tongue, it's a muscle, and as athletes do, they have to build it up, and they have to build up stamina and duration. So we have to work on our muscle here. So this is more like a marathon, let's say. I put the metronome in 100, and I play all the scales like in the beginning. I was doing with legato, but this time staccato, and I try, if possible, not to stop at all. Of course, in the beginning you will be tired, you will have to stop, relax the tongue, but the goal would be not to stop. If 100 on the metronome is not making you at all tired, then I would suggest just putting a bit faster, and the point that your tongue gets tired. The point is that you really reach your limits every time, and every time you will break these limits, and you will be able to play longer and faster. So I'll do it like this. I'm not going to play the whole thing because the video is getting quite long with a lot of information. And so, as you saw, I had to breathe because, of course, you cannot do circular breathing here. I had to breathe, but it's important, just you breathe once and then you continue. No break, just keep everything set like it was and continue. Just a small pause to breathe. And in the end, I think I have some water here. And in the end, I do an exercise with arpeggio for the speed, to really, then it's like a test in the end for me if I did a good warm-up or not. So I put this time in 150, and I hope it will work because it's kind of tricky. And you can start a bit slower. Important is that you keep the airflow, everything to be nicely with legato in the beginning, because I start playing the arpeggio in legato and then I do them in staccato. So the airflow should not be different from playing the arpeggio in legato and play them in staccato. I do 3 octaves, so in all my exercises I go up to the high E. Of course, on days when I have the time, I just test myself, I go a bit higher. You can do the same. So this was my warm-up, my daily warm-up. It's important you do it every day. And it's also important to be critical with yourself, to listen to what other people are doing, listen to your professors, and also listen to other instruments, because sometimes you can find some really interesting exercises that work for the clarinet from other colleagues of you playing different instruments. This worked for me. I hope you can get something from it. You can use some of these things for your own practicing. Important is that you find also your own exercises. Think, what do you need to improve? What didn't work in one concerto or in one piece you were playing, one chamber music piece, and try to create one exercise or find one that really focuses on this specific problem. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was informative and helpful. And thank you very much.